Super Mario 64 is a game that needs no introduction. Everyone knows it and everyone loves it, and despite it being 28 years old, it still holds up to this day and is a lot of Nintendo lovers' all-time favorite Mario games. It's certainly one of mine. This game has 24 courses, and with such a wide variety to choose from, some are bound to be better than others. I've made ranking videos on all the courses and stars in Super Mario Star Road, which is widely regarded as an unofficial sequel to Mario 64. So why not do the same, but for the original N64 game, which revolutionized 3D gaming. I'm going to be ranking these courses based on how well designed the course is, how well executed the theme is, and how fun the course is to traverse and gather stars in, as well as how impactful the course is to the game as a whole. Like with my Star Road star ranking video, these courses will be kept neatly organized in a tier list, which will be symbolized by the color of the galaxy background. Red is F tier, orange is E, yellow is D, green is C, blue is B, pink is A, and purple is S. Anyways, that's enough yapping. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and let's go! Kicking off our list all the way at number 24 is Rainbow Ride. Oh my days, where do I even begin? Firstly, the level design. What on earth were the developers thinking? Carpet rides aside, you've got nothing but huge textureless blocks and shapes with practically nothing that's visually pleasing to look at. The only nice looking part of the level is the flying ship in the air, which I will admit looks stunning. And the self-moving oars are a really nice touch and add a layer of immersion. But sadly, that's the only praise I'm going to be giving this course. The entire gimmick of this course are these carpet rides which travel along a rainbow track. This sounds like a decent idea, but unfortunately, the carpets travel at a snail's pace, and it makes this level insanely boring. In fact, the first thing you're greeted with when you spawn in is this carpet ride, which lasts around 30 seconds, which means at least 3 minutes of your time on this course is just actually getting to the content, which is beyond terrible. I won't go into too much detail with the stars, but what I will say is that if you ignore the opening carpet ride, half of the stars require you to sit on carpet rides and do minimal inputs for several minutes. For what's meant to be the grand, full, final course of the game, it's incredibly underwhelming. It's not even saved by the music! Most courses share music in this game, which makes sense, and for the most part it fits well. The 2 water stages share a theme, the 2 snow levels share a theme, the 3 Bowser stages share a theme, etc. But Rainbow Ride shares the slide theme, which is such a mockery. The slide theme is meant to be for fast-paced, intense situations, and this stage is just this. So yeah, for having tedious level design, an awful theme, no fun stars, and unfitting music, this is, without a doubt, the worst stage in Super Mario 64. No Mario level even remotely comes close to how god-awful Rainbow Ride is, and I actually implore Nintendo to try and make a Mario level worse than this. Coming in at number 23, we have Dire Docks. The moment you load in, you're instantly plunged into a huge body of water, which is actually quite exhilarating for a few moments. However, that novelty quickly wears off when you realize that you're now stuck in the water for an extremely long time. To me, there are 3 main reasons why Dire Docks is such an overwhelmingly bad stage. Number 1, and a pretty obvious one, it's a water stage. Water stages in Mario games are inherently bad, primarily due to how slowed and limited your movement becomes when you're encased in water. Number 2, 5 out of the 7 stars within this stage requires you to swim through this long, pointless tunnel. Now, before you nerds rush to the comments to tell me that the reason this tunnel exists is to unload the first part of the level and to load the second part, I knew that already. But this tunnel has no business being this long. The only use for this tunnel is to hide the 2 parts of the level loading and unloading. So it being this tall and drawn out is pointless. It could have been made much shorter. And number 3, the red coin star. I don't know what the game developers were smoking when they decided to add a dozen slow-moving poles for the red coin star, but this is a strong contender for the worst star in the game. This star consists of hitting the purple switch, climbing up the wooden box as it spawns, sitting on a platform, and waiting for a pole. Then grab the pole and sit and wait for several minutes. Like, this is literally it. Despite how awful this level and its stars are, I'd like to end this segment on a positive note, because there are actually 2 things I quite like about this level. Firstly, I think that Dire Docks hiding Bowser in the Fire Sea is quite creative, and the only way to access that level is to board Bowser's submarine, which disappears after defeating Bowser. The submarine exiting the stage through the wall is a neat gimmick, and it's rare to see a course drastically change as you progress through the stars. Another thing I appreciate about this level is the immersion in the second part. While the journey to it is is a drag, I really like the steampunky underground bass vibe this level portrays. But that's all the praise this level deserves. Moving on, at number 22 is Wing Mario Over the Rainbow. This is a bonus level with only 1 star, which is collecting 8 red coins among several clouds. The only way to gain height is by opening the cannon found right at the bottom of the stage and blasting off with the wing cap. This stage is just overall pretty pointless, and for what's meant to be a difficult final bonus stage, it's not actually difficult at all. However, if you do somehow find a way to fall off the stage, you don't die and lose a life. Instead, you plummet into the lake outside the castle grounds. This wastes so much time, and it's a drag getting your progress back. This stage isn't bad per se, it's just not a stage I ever find myself playing for fun. It's purely 1 more star to tick off the list if I'm going for 120 stars. At number 21 is the Secret Aquarium. In the Jolly Roger Bay room, you'll find 2 hidden holes in the wall. One contains a 1-up and one contains the Secret Aquarium. This bonus stage is 100% water, and all you need to do is collect 8 red coins. Because this stage is simply a cube with water, there aren't any hiding spots for these coins. You've got 4 in a circle near the top and 4 in the bottom corners. There's no risk of drowning here because of the red coins replenishing a quarter of your health bar each, along with the rings of yellow coins. So this stage simply becomes yet another quick stage to cross off the to-do list for completionists. 45 seconds of swimming for 1 more star. Boring. At number 20 is Jolly Roger Bay. To absolutely no one's surprise, yet another water stage is right at the bottom of this list. However, this is certainly much better in many ways. I really dig the eerie atmosphere, especially when loading this level for the first time with the ship sunken at the bottom of the bay. What I find interesting is that the fog found at the surface of the water will go away once you collect the sunken ship star, but if you replay star number 1, the fog doesn't come back, but the ship sinks again. It really feels like you're restoring the peace once found in this creepy place. Like with all water levels, traversing this stage feels like a drag, and most stars require you to delve deep into the water. Like with Dire Docks, this stage does an excellent job at immersing you in its surroundings. A recurring feature of this course is the Unagi eel, who's first found hiding in the sunken ship, and then found in an alcove with a star on its tail, and then finally he can be found swimming around the bay. His design is genuinely quite scary, especially when he lunges at the camera for star number 2. The added fish and marine life make for a pleasurable swimming experience despite it being slow. At the bottom of the bay, you'll find a cavern with falling rocks, goombas, a blue coin block, and a star hidden after unlocking chests in a certain order. Most stars here are okay, pretty average for the most part, but I'm really not a fan of the red coin star. This stage is pretty small, so the placements aren't creative in the slightest. Out of the 8 red coins, only 1 is in a decent spot. There are 4, count them, 4 inside clams, and 3 on the ship. That is so remarkably uninspired. On top of this, there are only 104 coins in this entire stage, so miss 1 blue coin and you'll be stuck on 99 coins. Being forced to swim to every corner of the stage makes the 100 coin star feel more like a drag than it already is. Overall, a visually interesting and immersive stage, but with some below average stars and a very slow pace. At number 19 is Vanish Cap Under the Moat. As a course with a red coin star, it's not all too bad. It's a decent obstacle course, albeit on the easy side, with a huge ramp to start us off, followed by some leaning bridges and some elevator platforms. However, this is meant to be the player's introduction to the Vanish Cap and its capabilities, and it does a terrible job at teaching the player how it works. The first obstacle that the Vanish Cap helps out with are these fire spawners at the bottom of the big ramp. You're taught that being invisible makes the fire pass straight through you, but that's so niche, literally no one cares. Chances are your invisibility will run out before you even reach this fire due to you needing to grab the red coins along your path. At the end of the stage is where you'll need to press the switch to unlock the Vanish Caps among the other stages, and so you can equip 1 final cap to walk through this wall where the star spawns. But you can make a really easy wall kick over the wall, so what's the point of the Vanish Cap even being here? And what's the theme here even meant to be? You start with this huge, boringly textured slide, then you just stick to the outskirts of a gigantic empty box. Why bother having this much empty space? This course just confuses me, and it doesn't teach the Vanish Cap well in the slightest, hence why it's D tier. At number 18 is Tower of the Wing Cap. When you collect your 10th star, a light will start shining down in the center of the castle. If you go into first person to look up into the light, you'll be transported into the sky above the Tower of the Wing Cap and start flying immediately. Being thrown in the deep end straight away for this course is actually a brilliant way to start learning how to fly. In the air are 4 pairs of red coins inside rings of yellow coins. You might miss some red coins the first time you fly, and unfortunately you can't reach them from the tower. However, this is an incredibly short red coin star, and because the course is so open and barren, it allows allows for some free flying so you can gauge the controls and physics with the wing cap. The way you enter this stage is very unique, and the wing cap is taught well, but you've got to admit this course is extremely bland and uneventful. Then again, it's a cap stage, not a full course, so that's to be expected. At number 17 is Big Boo's Haunt. Seeing the Big Boo in this long hallway is actually quite unnerving, and when you get curious and go towards it, it quickly speeds off and phases through the wall, leading you to the courtyard. Visually, the courtyard is beautiful, with the iconic Ella's Real statue, foliage, and boos that have infested the area. Killing the Big Boo here will reveal the miniature haunted house, which you shrink down into. This is such an incredibly unique way to enter a course, even if it does get old by the 5th or 6th time you do it in a row. When you enter the course, you're immediately hit with spooky music as you're face to face with the prominent mansion. This mansion, along with its music, really immerses you with a scary theme, and that's also helped with the enemies. You've got bookends, scuttlebugs, the big and regular sized boos, and of course, the piano that traumatized all children globally. Unfortunately, some of this course's stars is holding it back from being ranked higher. Stars 1, 2, and 5 consist of killing a Big Boo boss, which is ridiculously easy. I love the red coin star, and thankfully it doesn't require you to venture into the hidden basement with the merry-go-round, so that's a big plus. Overall, a great course with immersion and uniqueness, but moving around can feel very samey, what with the course essentially being a big house with not much else. At number 16 is Tall Tall Mountain. Lots of you will be confused about how low this course is ranked, and I reckon this will be the ranking you disagree with the most. But before you crucify me in the comments, let me explain my ranking. This course is a vertical one, with one huge mountain which you spiral round and round. Contrary to the majority opinion, I think this level looks pretty great. I really felt like a mountain climber when parkouring along this stage. So why is this course only number 16 on this list? Well, let's think about what you do for each of the 6 stars. Star number 1, you climb the mountain. Star 2, climb the mountain. Star 3, climb the mountain. Star 4, climb the mountain. Star 5, climb the mountain. Star 6, plot twist, you take a blind cannon shot and either land on a star or die trying. With star number 4, you take this huge, rather difficult slide as a sub-area, which is a really strange and unfitting inclusion for a mountain. If the sub-area was rocky and mountain themed, it would be great, but the theme here is just blackness and random smiley faces. The stars are very samey, there's a ton of glitchy invisible walls, star number 6 is obnoxious, and the red coin star is boring and concentrates all 8 coins into one small area of the mountain. Overrated is the first word I think of when I think of Tall Tall Mountain. At number 15 is Lethal Lava Land. Every Mario game needs a lava level, and this game certainly doesn't disappoint. The ground is absolutely covered with this stuff, with many of the platforms being very close to its surface. Traversing this stage is incredibly tricky, but as you collect the stars, this is helped with a Koopa Shell, which negates any damage and allows you to skate along the lava and easily take out the bullies, which are introduced as the primary enemy in this stage. Unlike most Mario enemies, bullies cannot be jumped on to take them out, and you'll instead need to punch, kick, or stomp them into the lava to kill them and retrieve their coin. This gimmick is quite unique, and it's actually how you obtain stars 1 and 2. There are huge variants of these enemies with stars instead of coins if you knock them into the lava, which is made trickier as they're faster and take less knockback. In the center of this rather flat stage is a volcano, which you can actually delve deep inside to reveal a subsection with elevators and platforming around the outskirts. These 2 stars are great fun to collect, and if you die within the volcano, you're respawned inside of it, which saves you some time. While there's no way to exit the volcano without grabbing a star or getting a game over, I hardly think that's a flaw, considering you only really enter the volcano with the goal of obtaining stars. This stage may lack visuals in some areas, and the constant flatness can be underwhelming for the primary lava stage, but this is more than made up for with its fun stars and hilarious red coin puzzle. At number 14 is Hazy Ma Cave. Many people would rank this course lower than me, but for some reason, I've always been a fan of how many twists and turns this cave has. The music constantly gets stuck in my head too, and it gradually fades to a more eerie tune as you delve deeper and deeper down. This level's entrance is found in the floor, which is a great way to make you feel like you're heading down into a cave. The first thing you see when loading in is a split path, which instantly introduces the main focus for this stage, that being the countless alternate paths and maze-like structure. Turning left brings you to a huge open pit with endless boulders hurtling towards it. There are narrow pathways leading you to 2 doors, one of which taking you down to the lowest point of the cave, that being the underwater lake with Dory.
Hey, boss.
If you stomp on her poor back, you can climb on her head and guide her to the central item with a star. Or this door here, which very cleverly leads you to the Metal Cap stage, which we'll see a bit later on this list. This is the only stage where there's a level within a level, which adds a layer of uniqueness to this already uncanny stage. Going back to where you spawn, if you turn right and avoid the scuttlebugs and flames, you'll be brought to this room here where all the red coins are. I'm usually not a fan of the red coin stars where the red coins are in one concentrated area, but I'll make an exception for this course seeing as it's massive, with endless possibilities for red coin placements. This room also leads to the toxic maze, with sniffits, metal caps to negate the toxic damage, and hidden exits that lead to stars. This course is the biggest in the whole game and engages you in its surroundings, but the red coin and 100 coin stars are very weak and bring this course down a few placements. Still fun nonetheless and highly underrated. At number 13 is Tick Tock Clock. This is easily Mario 64's most challenging stage, with moving parts everywhere, tricky jumps, and huge punishments for mistakes. This stage is another vertical one, which of course means repetition when you're gathering all the stars in one go. Star number 1, climb up a bit. Star number 2, climb up a bit further. Star number 5, climb up a bit further. And star number 4, climb up the whole clock. Speaking of clock, the grandfather one is how you access this stage, and if you speak to the toad standing nearby, he'll actually tell you about the gimmick of the moving parts being controlled by whereabouts the minute hand is when you enter the stage. This is a really interesting idea and executed fantastically. The red coin star is made exceptionally easier by entering the clock at 12 and freezing the moving bars, and stars number 3 and 4 require you to stand on these moving clock hands to reach new areas. The theming is excellently executed, and it's a great challenge for late game players who have developed their skills from the previous courses, but for having repetitive gameplay and visuals, it more than deserves to be ranked in the middle of this list. I predict that when I eventually make my 120 star ranking video for this game, and work out the averages of each course's star placements like I did with Star Road, Tick Tock Clock will be in the top 3. At number 12 is the Princess's Secret Slide. Enter this room behind the 1-star door to reveal nothing? Well, nothing until you look around for a bit and discover a hidden warp behind this small peach painting. This reveals the secret slide, with 2 stars to collect instead of the typical 1 like the other bonus stages. The slide isn't too tricky, with the only difficult parts being the tight turns that lead to the void if you fail them. Reaching the end of the slide grants you a star in a box, and if you reach the end in under 21 seconds, you get a bonus star too. This is a fun little bonus challenge for early game, with not too much difficulty, which is perfect for how early on this stage can be accessed. And, of course, this goes without saying, the slide theme is iconic and sheer fun to listen to. At number 11 is Snowmans Land. This is officially the second snow-themed course, and it does a surprisingly fantastic job at differentiating itself from the other snowy stage. The primary landmark is, of course, the gigantic snowman in the middle of the stage, who has a star on his head, a penguin waddling in front of him, and a tiny little igloo next to him which you can actually enter to discover that it's huge on the inside. This is certainly an interesting sub-area, playing with your perception of size, and utilizing the Vanish cap in a great way. You work your way through a short, icy maze, and then make your way back by phasing through the ice, which grants you a star. There are quite a few areas with not too much decoration, but that's not too much of a bad thing, as it adds to the overall openness of the snowy setting. The stars for the most part are pretty average to good, but the 100 coin star feels quite slow due to the lack of any blue coins. So for having no bad stars and a distinguished theme, it deserves to be on the upper half of this list. Kicking off our top 10, we have Cavern of the Metal Cap. I've already explained how it's really unique how the stage is found within Hazy Ma Cave, so I won't go into detail on that again. What I will go into detail on, however, is just how well the Metal Cap is taught. You're immediately introduced with 2 enemies, which you can brute force your way through, in a similar way to how the Superstar works in the Mario Bros titles. Another thing that you're immediately shown is that if you end up in a body of water, you sink to the bottom and walk around down there, which is in fact how you collect half of the red coins. One thing I find annoying about this stage though is that if you somehow let the rushing water take you all the way to the end of the waterfall, you're forced outside Peach's castle and into the water by the moat. But let's be honest, who's dumb enough to do that? I really like the crystal decorations and the cavern theme. It links nicely to Hazy Ma's Cave and is an overall brilliant showing of the Metal Cap's capabilities. At number 9, we have Cool Cool Mountain. This is the predecessor snow level, ranking 2 spots higher than Snowmans Land, primarily due to the shape of the course. With Cool Cool Mountain having multiple methods of traveling up and down the mountain, as well as reaching new landscapes, it gets the edge over Snowman's Land. Visually, this looks like your typical snow-themed stage, with snowy floors, slippery mountains, and cold ambience. This level adds an additional layer of uniqueness with the cottage at the start. Because it has no doors, you're made to enter through the chimney, which is a fun way of dropping into this sub-area, which contains an entire slide with dozens of coins. This slide is much more difficult than the secret slide, but this is balanced out with plenty of shortcuts. There's one intentional shortcut through an invisible wall guided by a a line of yellow coins, and there are several places to fall off the slide and land nearer the end. There are 2 stars to be found by going down the slide, with the first being granted to you after you reach the end and walk through the door. This is great because it allows you to slide down in your own time and gauge how difficult it is and what routes to take. This prepares you for the race against the large penguin, where you'll need to go really fast and be careful when he rubber bands towards you and tries to push you off. Another iconic star I really like is Little Penguin Lost, where you retrieve this baby penguin from the top of the mountain and carry it all the way to the bottom where the penguin mother is. Plus, of course, there's always the delightful act of murder! This stage is nothing but iconic and a blast to play through, especially for casual players. At number 8, we have Shifting Sandland. Every Mario game needs at least one obligated sand-themed stage, and Shifting Sandland does an excellent job with it. There's not just one type of sand to walk on, but 3. One that acts just like any other floor, one that gimps your jumps and slowly sinks you, and one that insta-kills you if you touch it. The outside area looks really nice visually and fits the theme of desertion, but what really sells this course is inside the pyramid. This is another stage with a sub-area, and this is by far the most fledged out one in any course. Half of the stars can be found in this humongous area, with one being granted after climbing up to the very top, another one being uncovered by 5 secret coins, and one granted after defeating a unique boss called the Eye Rock. The way you access this boss is cool too. By standing on all 4 pillars located on the outskirts of the pyramid, the top spins out and explodes, revealing a secret entrance. Almost all of the stars are fantastic, and this course would have been ranked a couple of spots higher if it wasn't for one star in particular, the red coin star. Having 4 of the 8 red coins in the sky near the pillars is so incredibly lazy. And it's disappointing because you have this huge pyramid sub-area with loads of spots where red coins could have gone, such as here. Or here. Terrible red coin star aside, this stage is a lot of fun to come back to. At number 7, we have Bowser in the Fire Sea. Yep, it took 17 courses before we got to 1 out of the 3 total Bowser stages. And while this one is technically the worst out of the 3, it's still a solid A tier. Start with a short but slow ride through the lava, using these tilting platforms as safety spots. Then we're introduced to some bullies, first shown in Lethal Lava Land, which are a recurring enemy for this stage. Climb up this pole, across this tilting bridge, up another pole, and up this elevator to the next floor. From here, it's a simple run over to some diagonal platforms that raise up and down, allowing you to make it up to the final floor. This floor mainly consists of lava being slowly exposed by more moving platforms, requiring carefully timed jumps as to not set fire to your rectum. After a few more pole climbs, you face off against Bowser for the second time, and he's learned some new moves. He starts the fight by jumping high into the air and tilting the entire stage, forcing you to keep your balance and avoid sliding all the way down into the lava below. On top of this, he can also teleport now. For some reason. 1 mine is all it takes to defeat him and turn him into a key, which unlocks the upstairs area. At number 6 is Tiny Huge Island. I've always been a fan of Mario levels using size as a gimmick, such as this galaxy in Mario Galaxy 2 or this level in Mario Bros 3. Tiny Huge Island takes this gimmick and cranks it up immensely, with several warp pipes which take you from the large island to the small island. You can also choose whether you spawn on the tiny or huge version of the stage by choosing the corresponding painting. There are some stars which are focused on just one size, such as this star where you uncover 5 secret spots on the small island, or this star where you rematch Koopa the Quick on the large island. There are also some stars which utilize both islands together, such as the one where you drain the water in the small island to uncover a secret entrance to the Wiggler's hideout in the large island. Manipulating size in such a seamless way makes for some incredible creativity in both the star placements and the stage layout as a whole. I do have one huge criticism for this stage, which could make it the number 1 course if my ideas were implemented. Why isn't there a medium-sized island? The large island has its own huge Goombas unique to this stage, and the tiny island has its own tiny Goombas, also unique to this stage. Where on earth are the normal-sized Goombas? Imagine what this stage could be like if there was an in-between island with normal-sized Goombas and a medium-sized stage. I'm not sure how it would work in terms of the pipes transitioning you from one size to the other, but come on man, there's even a perfect painting for it. At number 5 is Bowser in the Dark World. This is the first Bowser stage you unlock after obtaining 8 stars and the ability to open this star door. As you slowly make your way towards the Peach painting, you notice a familiar face slowly fading in, and then all of a sudden, you're dropped into the level through a trapdoor. This is a great way to kickstart the first Bowser stage, and it brilliantly sets you up for a battle. Start by avoiding 2 fire spawners and running over a Ferris wheel to meet this terrifying Goomba trio. Next, you come across this really nice looking crystal pathway, which perfectly fits the emerald green skybox. After a few simple jumps over slow moving platforms, we come across this final section with seesaw platforms. If you're not going for the red coins, this stage is a simple linear parkour course, but with the red coins added, it makes for a great additional challenge. The first 2 red coins require this purple switch to be pressed, which creates some wooden boxes allowing you to safely collect them. The rest of the red coins are placed in excellent spots, requiring you to go slightly out of your way for an extra challenge. I especially like the final 3 red coins, with one being at the end of a very narrow pathway, and the other 2 implementing the seesaws perfectly. After activating the final staircase, we can delve into the pipe and face off against Bowser for the first time. Bowser himself tells us how to defeat him, which is just so kind. Thank you, Bowser. He doesn't have too many fighting moves here. His walking speed is remarkably slow, and his main attack is breathing fire, which isn't too hard to avoid. This is excellent for a first Bowser fight, and sets you up for the 2 future Bowser fights where he learns new moves in a familiar setting. After Bowser has flung into one bomb, he transforms into the key for the basement, ending the first of the 3 fantastic Bowser stages. At number 4 is Bowser in the Sky, and now we're on to the final Bowser stage in the whole game. Without 70 stars, you'll be infinitely running up this infamous staircase while Bowser mocks you. As you dive into the final level, you're immediately directed forwards with this arrow. Thanks mate, I had no idea where to go. Climb up the wall and across a spinning platform until you come across the scariest enemy of them all. One baby piranha plant. Next, you can use this Ferris wheel to either parkour past this womp, or make a large jump and skip this small section, which is actually encouraged since it doesn't skip any red coins. Next, press this purple switch and quickly jump up the temporary stairs it makes. Walk up more walls, dodge fire, then sit on this moving platform while jumping over and under these oddly shaped platforms. We're nearly at the end. Climb up another pole, long jump across these moving orange blocks, traverse up 2 more Ferris wheels, then finally battle the wind and jump into the pipe. Before I start praising the final boss fight, however, I must address a small issue I have with this level. There are 2 red coins which I'm really not a fan of, with the reason being that practically no one would ever think to look for these due to how out of place and out of sight they are. And those 2 red coins are number 3 and number 8. Why on earth would anyone think to jump off a random tiny bit of this ledge, and why would anyone jump behind the final stairs? Anyways, onto the Bowser fight. It's perfect. Bowser is rainbow colored, assumedly due to the star power surging within him, and once again we need to swing him by the tail and throw him into bombs. However, it now takes 3 hits to defeat him instead of 1, and on top of this, Bowser has learnt some more moves. He can leap up into the air and create electrical shockwaves along the ground which zap you if you touch them, and he can also destroy the stage if he leaps from the void. The stage turns into a star shape for the final bomb throw, which not only looks great, but it makes the bombs inadvertently further away, as they're now surrounded by nothing but void, which, speaking of, looks great. This stage's unique skybox is my favourite out of all 24 courses. After that final explosion, Bowser fades away into a huge grand star, which Mario grabs and uses to fly out of the stage, back to Princess Peach. The power of the stars is restored to the castle, and it's all thanks to you. Thank you, Mario. What an ending, with an incredible music piece to go along with it. At number 3, we have Womp's Fortress. As you're all probably aware by now, I'm a huge fan of small and condensed Mario levels, and Womp's Fortress is definitely no exception. Being the second course in the game, the level design is fairly simplistic, with easy parkour, alternate routes, and straightforward red coins. However, what sets this course apart from course number 1 is that this course is floating, with nothing but void surrounding it. There's no void within the stage itself, but it's still an extra bonus layer of difficulty. The first star requires you to climb all the way to the top of the stage, much like a certain other stage we'll see soon. And waiting for you is the Womp King, which is an iconic boss despite being ridiculously easy nowadays. All you've got to do is ground pound his back 3 times, and after you defeat him, he'll give you a star and he becomes the building bricks for the top of the fortress, which is a really nice touch. Collecting 100 coins on this stage is a blast due to the stage size being so small. You're easily able to scoop up tons of lined and ringed yellow coins, gather 20 coins from the blue coin block, kill piranha plants for blue coins, and get up to 10 coins from each Womp. Despite being slightly underwhelming on the visual side of things, Womp's Fortress is still great fun nonetheless, and definitely deserves its top 3 placement. At number 2, we have Wet Dry World. This cryptic course is easily the most uniquely designed and themed stage in the whole game. It has a unique skybox using this old picture of a seemingly deserted town with a violet hue, and it uses the same music as Hazy Ma Cave, which fits pretty well. On top of its eerie atmosphere, this course has the whatever one-of-a-kind gimmick of controlling the surface level of the water, making it the first ever Mario water stage I've ever truly enjoyed. The water level can be manipulated in two ways, one of which being these diamond-shaped objects at various levels. The more interesting way to move the water level, in my opinion, is by entering the painting at different levels. For those of you who aren't aware, there are 3 different water levels you can set prior to even spawning in the stage, by jumping into the painting at the bottom, middle, or top. What's most interesting about this is that diving in the top of the painting actually sets the water level higher than you're able to do with the diamonds, meaning you can jump up and over the barbed wire barrier without needing to speak to the Bobon buddy, which is a neat touch. This hidden area is actually an old flooded town, which you can once again drain the water of using a diamond underneath the tunnel you swim through to access this area. This area is really cryptic, and it contains 2 stars, one of which actually being the red coin star, which works really well with the hidden theme. Back to the main stage, we're introduced to the heave hose, which have the unique property of launching Mario up into the air, which aids significantly in vertical travel. If you don't move the water level at all, this is the main way to get to the top of the town. I can't help but love this stage and its stars. The uniqueness and creativity is the primary reason Wet Dry World is sitting comfortably at number 2. And finally, we have the best course in all of Mario 64, Bobon Battlefield. I could go on about how this is one of, if not the most iconic Mario stage of all time, and how this game revolutionized 3D Mario forever. Or I could instead show you why this course is a 10 out of 10 introduction. Firstly, this course is extremely open and easy to jump around in, allowing for a beginner player to gauge the controls and mess around with Mario's moveset. Secondly, there's no void, so if you fall off somewhere high, you're not punished as harshly as some other levels. Thirdly, the enemies are few and far between, with the first ones you approach being Goombas, which as we all know are very easy to take out and don't deal much damage at all. And finally, the stars are all fantastic and easy to understand. The first and second stars require you to climb up to the top of the mountain, there's a star rewarded once you access the floating island, there's a coin challenge involving the wing cap and the cannon, ground pounding the Chain Chomp's post is a fun puzzle, and the red coins are all in fantastic spots, with a perfect balance of obvious coins sitting out in the open, and coins requiring you to think outside of the box. Every moment in Bobon Battlefield is massively enjoyable, and I cannot think of a better placement for it than right at the top of this list. And that concludes my personal ranking of all courses in Super Mario 64. Of course, your personal lists may differ greatly from mine, so if you see something in my list that you majorly disagree with, let me know in the comments. Do you think Wet Dry World sucks? Let me know. Do you think Rainbow Ride is the best course of all time? Let me know. So I can block you. My next ranking video will be on all 120 stars individually, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you like and subscribe, share the video, and join our Discord server. The link's in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.